सलाम मेरे अजीज पंखों।
He went home late at night and saw Taekook sitting in the lounge. They quickly stood up after seeing him and looked at him while twisting his fingers. Is there something you need? Jungkook asked while moving toward him. They shook his head and then looked into his eyes with tears in their eyes. When will Taekook come to take me? Jungkook's eyes went a little bigger, seeing tears in his beautiful eyes. Jungkook asked in anger. They shook his head. No, I'm just missing him. I'm not used to live alone. They said in a childish manner. You're not alone here. Try to relax. Your brother will come soon. Jungkook said in a deep voice. They tried to act upon his advice. He was missing his brother, but he also started loving to spend his time with Miss John. All the servants were also very nice. They all treat him with respect and adoration due to his baby-like nature. Next afternoon, Jungkook got a call from Miss John. She was asked him to come home. When he reached home, he saw a maid outside Taeyoung's room, who told her that was Uma there. He entered the room. He saw Taeyoung's head hidden in Miss John's laps. There were low sound of hiccups. Miss John was looking worried and tried to make Taeyoung quiet. Jungkook, what happened? Jungkook asked while moving near. There was a hilt in his hiccup. He had a little sniff sound. Afterward, Taeyoung is having a fever and he is crying continuously. I don't know how to handle him, Miss John said in a worried tone. He asked Miss John to let him handle him. Miss John got up and Jungkook moved toward him. He placed a hand on his forehead to check the fever and then said, Has he taken the medicine? Miss John, no, he has not even eaten his lunch. Miss John told him. Jungkook asked a servant to bring a light lunch and medicine. They was still sniffing a little. Why are you crying? Jungkook asked in a serious tone. I am missing him, he said while tears again filled his eyes. His emotions were all over the place. They was also scared of him after his coldness from time to time. I have explained to you about that. You are also making Uma worried by your crying. Do you want that? Jungkook said and looked at him. They quickly shook his head. Just then, a servant entered the room with the food. Jungkook stood up and let her serve. But when he saw Taeyoung had no plan to eat, he took the plate and helped him to sit down. After making him eat, he gave him the pill and made him lay down again. Take some rest now, and don't you dare to cry. Jungkook said and placed the blanket on him properly. Miss John was seeing all this from the corner of this room. Jungkook had not even noticed her presence until he turned around to leave the room. Miss John and Jungkook got out of the room. Miss John asked Jungkook to follow her in her room. Miss John sat down on the bed while Jungkook sat beside her. Who is he? Miss John asked seriously. He's my friend brother, Jungkook said, but Miss John stopped him by saying, Tell me the whole truth. Jungkook looked into his mother's eyes and took a deep breath. He knew that he had to tell the truth. He told Miss John about the whole truth, that Taeyoung was his husband now. His brother is in hospital and all the important details. Miss John was looking instantly at him. Jungkook gave her a caution look, trying his best to hide his feeling. I'm your mom. I know you in and out. Your love from him is not hidden from me. I have seen you looking at him, the guy who never ever bothered to blink twice in the direction of a strange woman. Miss John said, while look at her. Uma, he's so young. I should not. Jungkook stopped with a sign. He is now your husband. His age doesn't matter. Solve your problems and try to make it easier for both of you. Miss John said while patting his cheeks lovingly. By the way, my son's husband is really an angel, by look and by nature, Miss John said in a naughty tone. Jungkook could not stop his smile and got up. He went to his room. He thought about the first time he met him. It was love at first sight. Why did this happen to me? I'm not supposed to love him. He's not mine forever. Jungkook thought and controlled himself. He married him but didn't show any emotion. It was the most difficult thing for him not to show emotion of his love. Yes, the cold-hearted man felt it different to be cold-hearted in front of him. The tears felt like it was burning his heart, but he stopped himself. They was his just for some time. But after seeing him sick and crying, he could not control himself. He used a hard tone with him, thinking that it would make him stop crying. And it did. He made him eat food and medicine. Take care of him was a natural thing. For him, he never wanted to see tears in his eyes. I can have him attend to me. It will make things difficult, Jungkook said with a sad smile. Miss John was more relaxed after knowing that Taeyong was Jungkook's husband. He thought Jungkook taking interest in someone so deeply was not really comfortable for her without any relation. At night, Jungkook checked on Tae. He saw that his fear was down, but his eyes were still solemn. It was clear that he cried again. Jungkook sighed. He knew that using a hard tone was not going to work with him. This time, he took a soft approach. He saw that he was shocked by the change in his behavior. He was letting him see the care of love. He made Tae eat the food and told him to sleep well. Taeyong noticed the softness in his expression. He was not wearing the cold mask. They could see his care. It had him relaxed. At least he was not scared of him hurting him. Jungkook never thought that the unconditional love exists, even and takes round it more real to him. But it happened. He was in love with Taeyong. In the crazy, only give an unconditional kind of love. I have to make him feel comfortable over here. Otherwise, this is not going to work. Jungkook thought he planned to make him his friend and show him his care. Only care. Next day, he spent his evening with him. At night, he was standing on the terrace when Jungkook saw him over there and went toward him. What are you doing here? Later, he asked when he turned. He saw tears in his eyes. It broke his heart. Why are you crying? Jungkook asked softly. Hyung has not even called me, Taeyong said, sniffing. Jungkook chuckled at his cuteness and shook his head. He was also feeling jealous of Namjoon. Taeyong had been missing him from the first and was crying again and again. He will be back soon. Don't worry, he said. Didn't stop crying. Jungkook pulled him into a hug by holding his back. Taeyong's hands were clenched his shirt and his face were hiding in his chest. He didn't leave Tae until his tears Stop.